Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It's the match preview. Aston Villa versus Everton. A very tough first away game for the Toffees, travelling down to Villa Park, which is somewhere we just haven't had any joy, have we, since they came back into the Premier League?
We don't have much joy there anyway. If you look at it over the years, we've not won that many games at Villa. We've had our moments, but a lot of the times we don't have any. We haven't had good results at Villa. That's all. And since they come back, we haven't had good results against them home or away. Really, we've been a little bit of a bogey side in recent times. It's always a tough game going to Villa. It's always a tough game.
Yeah, it's not been good times. And obviously we went there for our first away game. Sorry, last season, our second game, and obviously we were beaten 2-1. So we want to try and avoid that this season. But obviously Villa got off to a really bad start of the season, going to Newcastle. A lot of buzz about Villa, obviously pre-season. I've made some really good signings, going up to a club that has had similar. We got beat 5-1 and conceded a hell of a lot of shots, and obviously conceded the goals as well. And Newcastle did very well to put the 5 past them.
Yeah, it was a shock result, obviously. You'd expect in that game. Not so much a shock result as in Newcastle winning, because Newcastle being very strong at home, certainly last season. But just the fact that it ended 5-1 was obviously a bigger scoreline than you'd expect. Villa were poor on the day defensively. Obviously lost Tyrone Mings, though, to an ACL during the game, and he didn't really recover from that properly, and allowed Newcastle, they scored a couple of good goals, but did allow them running through, almost getting caught so square at the back, and Newcastle were able to exploit that. But they'll be looking to bounce back from that, because that will have hurt.
And that's unusual, isn't it? I mean, it's first game of the season. You can't always take anything that happens on the first day of the season. It's very much an extension of the pre-season. But Emery have obviously came in, took a disjointed Villa side, organised it, got it a lot more defensively solid. So to see them concede 5 goals on the first game of the season, because they've obviously added lots of pace, dynamism in there, but he's obviously got the team to where he wants it. But obviously Emery is someone I wanted as Everton manager, 10 years ago. But he's obviously someone who's built his reputation on being very, very organised. But he has added that little bit more, going forward this summer. And maybe first game of the season, they've just been caught not quite having the balance. And that's something where, the weeks and the months and playing more games together starts to gel a little bit more, and you find that balance. Because it's not always easy, especially if you've got a lot of attacking, pacey players who all want to go in one way. You've got to make them start working the other way as well, and getting it so you're not getting overrun.
Yeah, I mean, he's brilliant at that, isn't he? His Villarreal sides are always, formulaic, and he's done it at Seville, hasn't he? And he gets you playing in a certain way. Everyone understands the job, and that's what he done since he went in at Villa. They looked a mess under Steven Gerrard. They looked like they were in trouble going the other way, and he got in and sorted it. So they finished the season brilliantly and got into Europe, obviously. And the attacking talent they've got will always put them in games, but he did sort the defence out. The first few games of the season, people are still finding their feet. We've always said after the first international break is when the season really begins. And so from an Everton perspective, this one might actually be an okay time to play Villa before the have settled down. They obviously lost Buendia last week with an ACL in the build-up to the league, and then lose Tyrone Mings with an ACL in the game, which is incredibly unlucky. From our perspective, you'd like to think we could take advantage of them not being fully cohesive right now, but they've got a lot of really good players.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Everton's team isn't where we want it to be.
No.
But at least it's going to be similar to what it was last week. Maybe adding on Dominic Calvert-Lewin to it. So at least we've already got what we know. Whereas they're having to make those changes. We've spoke to Luke from the Up the Villa podcast. Let's hear from him.
Aston Villa v Everton this weekend. Really looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a difficult game for both sides. Aston Villa are going to be looking to bounce back on the absolute horror show at St James's Park 5-1. We played quite well in parts. I think the scoreline, it probably should have been not so bad towards Villa, but we move on. Tyrone Mings getting injured, going down with an ACL. Emi Buendia, a couple of days before, we got hit by such bad luck going into that game anyway. Mings leaving that game on a stretcher, which I think emotionally probably hurt the players a little bit as well. So Villa are looking to bounce back. Everton had a decent performance against Fulham. I saw parts of that game. Same old story, just needed their shooting boots on, needed a striker. Can rinse and repeat that sort of saying, can't you really? But, I think Everton are in a decent place under Dyche. You know what you're going to get. Defensively sound, difficult to beat, quite physical, decent on set pieces. But like I say, until you get a striker, I think you'll be all right when you get a striker. I'll put it to you this season to finish 12th, 13th, which I think would be a decent season. So at Villa Park, I think players to watch out for, obviously Ollie Watkins, John McGinn, but our new signing Moussa Diaby, really exciting, really powerful. Looks like he's starting to get a little bit of a partnership with Watkins as well. And I think Aston Villa might just have a little bit too much for Everton, especially at home. I think, we've got goals in our side, and I just think for Everton to win, you're probably going to have to score 2+ goals, and it's difficult to maybe see where the goals are going to come from right now. But I think you'll have a better season than last season. Enjoy the game. Up the Villa.
There you go. Thanks to Luke, and that's something we'll be doing more this season on the previews, getting the view of the opposition fans. I mean, listen, I can't go against anything he said there. No. He's absolutely right. The goals are the thing, aren't they? Everton have been... everyone knows what Everton's issue is. You can play well, lose the game, and everyone will go, it's the goals. It gets highlighted every time, and it's something Everton have got to sort out and are trying to sort out even as we speak. Yeah. So that's going to be the hard point, but with the possibility of having Dominic Calvert-Lewin back for Everton, obviously Sean Dyche has done the press conference and has already spoke about it. That does give us that little bit just extra what we saw last season. Certainly we speak about the Brighton game as being the one way we'd really seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin click, and maybe with Villa having a little bit of an upset in their defence and having to bed in a new centre-back, it is an opportunity, isn't it? Absolutely.
I mean, it's a big boost to have Dominic Calvert-Lewin available. We wait and see whether the manager starts with him, but that's huge for Everton. Changes the way we play, gives us a focal point, gives us a target when we're putting balls into the box. He frees up other players because defenders have to look after him. And obviously, they're going to have to make a decision. Is it going to be Pau Torres that comes in? It probably is. First game and all that, so a chance for Dom to unsettle him a little bit. And it changes, like I said, it changes Everton's team. And these are the early part of this season. It's not ideal the way we do business, that we have to wait. I mean, you hate the fact that the transfer window's still open when the league starts, because it upsets everything. But for us, what we've got to do is just get through these games again. And last season we were talking like this, and there was 5 Premier League games gone by the time the window shut, and we'd almost written them all off. And ironically, last season we started with a 1-0 home defeat, and then we lost to Villa in the second game. So we're going to have to try to correct that. But in a few weeks, Everton will have Dwight McNeil back, top scorer from last season. They'll have Jack Harrison available. Arnott Danjuma will be fitter. We know they're chasing another wide player, another centre forward. Yeah. The attacking options will be much better in a couple of weeks. But right now, for this one, Dominic Calvert-Lewin being available is huge.
Yeah, and think about someone like having someone like Dom in the team as well. It does help the likes of Nathan Patterson, because they know they don't have to they don't have to check back and try and do anything clever. You can just whip a ball in the box, and he'll try and make something out of it. Okay, it doesn't always work because you need more bodies in there, but at least that's an option now, rather than when Mopai's up front, you're looking, and if he's the only one in there, you're checking back, you're slowing the play down. I think with Don, what we saw last season is when he's on it, and again, it's hard because we've had this loads of times, but when he's on it, the likes of Decore will run past them and will support, knowing that the ball's going to stick. They're not hesitating because they think, well, if this doesn't stick, I'm going to be caught out. So it is massive to, if he starts or even if he just comes off the bench, it gives everyone a lift, I think, gives the fans a lift as well, which is can be that little extra thing to keep you in a game or get you ahead in a game.
Yeah, definitely. It changes the way we play. I know, obviously, we've had 2 seasons of being really poor, but a lot of that's been born out the fact we haven't had a proper striker for the 2 seasons. The seasons before that we had Dom, and before that we had Rom. You know what Rom Dom? It was we were and he was an issue. Rom Dom, wasn't he? Bloody hell. So we've always had that focal point. We've had the goals, and Everton were doing because we had that player in the team. You're seeing it with Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins. When he went on his purple patch after Christmas, they flew up that table. I remember them coming to Goodison in February. If Everton had won, there'd have been 3 points between the 2 teams. And yet, on the last day of the season, Villa are in Europe and we're having to win to stay up because they had a centre forward. I think that day he'd scored in 6 games on the run, I think it was, when he scored the pen. So you have a centre forward who's there and getting on the end of things. It changes your whole team. And we just haven't had that in the last season. Our strikers got 4 goals between the 3 of them. It's embarrassing. Yeah. So having Don back, it changes everything.
Let's have a little look at the Everton team that started against Fulham. There you go. I mean, I don't think there's going to be too many changes in that side at all, apart from Dominic Calvert-Lewin possibly coming in. With what we've got at the moment, I just can't see too many changes. I think Michael Keane will probably continue because I don't think he did bad at all last week. I think the midfield picks itself. James Garner out wide is someone who can tuck in, especially in an away game, and maybe Patterson can go on the outside of him. That's what I'm saying. If you have got a Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, you can throw in
the middle.
Yeah, something to hit, something to get crosses into, someone hold the ball, then allow the team. And as I said before, under Dice, the away performance haven't been that bad, and you've got to go back to Manchester United getting beat 2-0. And that day we had Ellis Sims playing up front for us, and we had actual good chances that day.
He missed the gilt-edged chance. Sims at 0-0, didn't he? Put it wide.
And the other away defeats were Arsenal and Liverpool. So he's in the other games he's done all right. So let's have a little look at the Villa side.
Yeah, Martinez, the Matt back 4, obviously Cash, Conser, Mings and Dean. It was last week. We're expecting Pau Torres to come in there. They've got Boubacar Kamara, I really like him. Douglas Luiz, two tough lads in midfield there. Leon Bailey, anyone who watches this knows that I really like him. Anyone who watches this knows that Moussa Diaby, Everton have watched 100 times. I've been banging on about them to sign him for years, but he's gone to Villa. John McGinn, who is an excellent footballer. And obviously Ollie Watkins, who could have been an Everton player, had Anthony Gordon moved to Newcastle, to Chelsea last August when Steven Gerrard was ready to let him go. So Watkins was brilliant, but yeah, Moussa Diaby, tremendous. Obviously a goal on his debut last week as well.
Yeah, obviously just come in. Let's have a little look at his numbers, even though there's a small sample size at the moment. Obviously goals 1, XG of 0.28, dribbles 2 out of 2, ground duels 4 out of 8, and pass accuracy 88%. And obviously, more obviously on that right hand side. So, a good player. He played a lot of money for. I think I actually said in something we done that he was actually my one to watch for the season. So he's going to be. I think he's going to be a big player for them this season as they strive not only to get higher up the league, but obviously playing in European Conference football. They play Hibs next week.
They'll win. They'll win.
The whole tournament. He's gone.
I'm gone there. I do fancy them. I fancy them to win. I think they've got if Emery can get them cohesive, and there's no reason why he wouldn't. they've got enough attack. The only, if you're looking at Villa from an outsider's perspective, the only issue they might have is if there's an injury to Ollie Watkins. They haven't got anything underneath. Cameron Archer, that, you know, has been around there. There's no one really. There's still 2 weeks of the window. They may. No, midfielder though, isn't he? I love Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey's brilliant. But for me, they need another forward underneath Watkins. I think if they kept him fit, I think they've got a great chance with Bailey and Diaby. It's not that easy to go, they've won it, but I think they can do it.
I mean, you made it look really easy.
I know why, because I think they're better than West Ham. And West Ham won it. I think they got more attack and prowess than West Ham. The West Ham maybe were very solid under Moyes and worked their way through it. But I think, put it this way, I think Villa have got a great chance. If they can keep Watkins fit.
Yeah. I think they have. I think every Premier League team that goes in it,
Yeah.
they take it seriously. They've got a fantastic chance. I think they'll play Fiorentina every year in the final. So we'll have to wait and see. But there you go, tough trip, as we said, really tough trip, as it is every year. But it'd just be great to get something because, you know, again, 2 defeats in a row, then going into game at home where everyone's thinking, we've got to win this game. Just be lovely to just get something on Sunday and get off the mat. Yeah, start the season rather
just
than be
go
like...
and do a Fulham.
Yeah.
You know, go to Villa, let them have all the play, all the XG and all that, and then just spawn a goal on the break and win it 1-0.
Let's do it. Let us do it. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Tell us how you're feeling. If you're a Villa fan, how are you feeling about this game? Certainly after losing 5-1 to Newcastle last week. So are you optimistic at this one where you're feeling the same? Gotta get something because, yes, might be dead easy playing Hibs, but you've got it. Still gotta get a win, haven't you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to check out the Start 11 show as well. And if you want to join us for more great videos, exclusive day live videos, join us over on Toffee TV Premier. The link is in the description and the QR code is coming up on the screen in a minute. See you later.